Every morning at exactly 5 a.m., a 14-year-old boy named Arav would wake up, not because he wanted to, but because his family needed him. His father was a poor laborer, his mother worked in nearby houses, and Arav was the eldest son. Before going to school, he would carry a small basket and sell newspapers on the streets. His school uniform was old, his shoes. While Arav was walking toward school, he noticed that his shoe had completely broken. He tried fixing it with a piece of thread, but it didn't work. When he entered the classroom, some students started laughing. One boy pointed at his shoes and said, "Look at him. He wants to become successful with those broken shoes." Everyone laughed. Arav quietly sat down and looked at the floor. His eyes became wet, but he didn't say anything. That evening, when he returned home, he saw his mother sitting on the floor, counting a few coins in her hands. Arav asked, "Mom, what happened?" She smiled and said, "Nothing, son." But Arav knew she was worried. There wasn't enough money to pay his school fees. That night, Arav made a decision. He would stop going to school and start working full-time. The next morning, he told his mother, "I don't want to be a burden anymore." His mother suddenly became emotional and said, "You are not a burden, Arav. You are our hope." Then she took the only gold-colored chain she had and said, "This was given to me by your father many years ago. Sell it and pay your school fees." Arav looked at the chain and refused. "No, Mom, I can't take this." His mother held his hand and said, "One day, when you become successful, you can buy me another one. But today, don't sell your dream." Those words changed Arav's life. From that day, he started working even harder. He sold newspapers in the morning, went to school during the day, and worked at a small shop in the evening. At night, when everyone was sleeping, he studied under a small lamp because there was no proper electricity in their house. Many nights, he fell asleep while reading. Many times, he failed his exams. Sometimes he wondered if his dream was too big for someone like him. But whenever he felt like quitting, he remembered his mother's words, "Don't sell your dream." Years passed. Arav finished school and earned a scholarship. He felt scared, but he kept going. He studied day and night. He failed interviews, faced rejection, and sometimes had almost no money left for food. But he never gave up. Finally, after years of struggle, Arav received an email that changed everything. "Congratulations. You have been selected for your dream job." He stared at the screen for several seconds. Then he started crying. Not because he had got a job, but because he remembered the broken shoe, the old school bag, the newspaper basket, the small lamp, and most importantly, his mother sitting on the floor with those few coins in her hands. His first salary arrived a few weeks later. Arav didn't buy a phone. He didn't buy expensive clothes. He didn't buy anything for himself. He went straight back to his village. When he reached home, his mother was sitting out. His mother couldn't speak. Arav continued, "You said one day I could buy you another one. I kept my promise." His mother hugged him tightly and cried on his shoulder. Arav also started crying. Then he looked down at his feet. He was wearing expensive shoes now, but he suddenly remembered the broken shoes he had worn years ago. He realized something. The shoes had changed, the house had changed, his life had changed, but the boy inside him was still the same boy who refused to give up. The next day, Arav visited his old school, the same classroom, the same walls, the same place where people had once laughed at him. He stood in front of the students and quietly said, "Years ago, someone laughed at my broken shoes and told me that I could never become successful. I believed them for one night, but the next morning, I decided that my poverty would be my starting point, not my ending point." He paused, looked at the students, and said, "Never be ashamed of where you come from. One day, you may look back at your old life and realize that those difficult days were the reason you became strong. And then Arav walked out of the classroom. Behind him, one student was quietly crying. Because sometimes, the most powerful stories are not about people who had everything. They are about people who had almost nothing, but still refused to give up. And if your life is difficult today, remember this. Maybe you are not at the end of your story. Maybe you are standing at the beginning of the chapter that will one day make everyone say, "Look how far he came."